This is the Ag Summit Special Report.
Hello everyone, I'm Bryce Anderson at the DTN Progressive Farmer Ag Summit in Chicago, and on this video we're visiting with Darren Grogan from Arlington, Kentucky, one of the recipients of an Outstanding Young Farmer Award this year, as judged by our editors at DTN The Progressive Farmer. And Darren Grogan, first of all, congratulations. Great to have you with us here.
Thank you very much. It's a great honor.
Now, tell us a little bit about the location of your place. You're right on the Mississippi, but you're in kind of a famous location there in Kentucky.
Actually, we are. We're right at the confluence of the Ohio and Mississippi River, and a very rural area, but was recently made famous by the famous Bird's Point levee that was blown to protect Cairo, Illinois, and we're actually 15 miles from that area. Yeah,
that was a year ago during the flooding on the Mississippi in 2011, and then things turned around. Were you hit hard by the way things got so dry this year?
Yes, I would say on average that our area was actually cut 70% in yields on corn. Soybeans came up and weren't that devastated, but they were probably a 40 to 50% reduction.
Now, you do a lot of irrigating in your operation. You farm with your father and with your brother. The irrigation, I'm sure, was a real benefit this year in terms of your particular operation, wasn't it?
Absolutely. We actually have a business model to where we don't utilize crop insurance like most farms do, but we instead invest what would be our premiums into irrigating, and we were one of the few farms in our area that has adopted irrigation early. It's expanding greatly now. But we have used that to be our so-called insurance policy, and it has served us well.
So you are one of probably a rather small percentage here at the Ag Summit in terms of that philosophy, I would think.
Yes, that is correct.
And also in your area. So are you pleased with how that has turned out? Effectively, what you did was you invested in some technology to help make up the difference in hard times.
Exactly. We decided to self-insure and use the tools that were available to mitigate the risk in other manners. Now, that being said, this year with the extreme drought that we had, we would have been better off this year with crop insurance just because of the percentage of our crop that is not irrigated. But that being said, when I run the numbers, I'm a bit of a numbers guy, and I ran the numbers, the amount of money left on the table, under the table, so to speak, this year would not have overcome even last year's premium.
Okay.
So if we look at it over a longer term, I try to be a longer term thinker. If we look at it over the longer term, we're very much ahead.
And as far as the management part of things, how far ahead do you try to identify your farm goals, whether it's production or financial or what have you? How far ahead do you consider to be your horizon?
It all depends on the market forces. In a lot of cases, we're marketing 2 years out. In many cases, when market forces allow, we try to, of course, plan as far in advance as possible, and we try to really spend a lot of time on the planning aspect. Of course, we also have to be flexible and recognize the changes in markets and whatnot, and be willing to adapt to those.
Well, on that, in general, could I ask you a general idea of how you are approaching this coming year, 2013?
Well, somewhat nervously optimistic, I would say. I have several other things that I'm involved in, and one of them is being a director in the farm credit system, and I have to deal with these kind of questions as far as stress testing our organization, and we're looking forward to the economic. Now, that being said, I'm not sure what the markets will do. I don't know what the prices will be, but I do know with relative confidence that we will see our margins shrink in the future, and I think things like irrigation and trying to be as vertically integrated as we are, that we can maintain our efficiencies as greatly as possible and be able to continue to excel in those environments.
Well, on the efficiency aspect, you also have a company or an enterprise called Precision Ag Aviation. And what's involved with this particular business?
Okay, we do a fair amount of aerial application in our own operation, and at various times of the year, especially when fungicide is going on to corn, it's very hard to line up aircraft and that sort of thing. So we actually went into a partnership with another farmer our size nearby, and we basically took it on as not so much to be a profit center, but we had access to a wonderful top-notch pilot who had flown for us for a long time, and we were able to set him up with a business model and give him an opportunity to own equity in the company later down the road, to be a glue, and we've used that, and I became the managing member of that, and it has done surprisingly well, even with the we lost quite a bit of revenue this year with the drought, where many acres didn't get sprayed with fungicide, and the company has still had an excellent bottom line, so we're very pleased.
All right, and as far as your experience here at the Ag Summit, what's that been like?
Oh, it's been excellent. I mean, I was reflecting on this whole experience and thinking about what an honor it was to receive this, especially from what I consider to be the premier media source in agriculture, and that's DTN and the Progressive Farmer.
Well, we certainly are glad to have you here, and I know that our editors were delighted to be able to honor you and have you as a recipient of an Outstanding Young Farmer Award. And thanks very much, and congratulations to you and to your family for doing everything you've done that has brought you to this point.
Thank you very much.
And with Darren Grogan from Arlington, Kentucky, a recipient of one of the Outstanding Young Farmer Awards here at the DTN Progressive Farmer Ag Summit in Chicago, I'm Bryce Anderson, along with videographer Nick Scalise. Thanks very much for joining us for this video.
This has been the Ag Summit Special Report.